And thank you guys for coming out on a Wednesday morning. We do this every Wednesday morning here at Capital Factory slash the DAC, which is the Dallas Entrepreneur Center. So I'll talk a little bit about what those organizations are. Both of them are here to support entrepreneurs, really at the early stage of the process with finding investors, finding mentors, finding customers. So if you are a new entrepreneur in Dallas, this event is the place for you to be, and the space is also the place for you to be. So you'll see Catherine and also Kinga. Some of the Capital Factory staff will be here to give tours of the space if you're interested in checking out the rest of the facility. So that's a little bit about our venue, and thank you to them for providing us with the space. So a little bit about 1 Million Cups, the history. It started in 2012, and now we have grown to, I think, over 180 cities where we have active chapters that are doing exactly this every Wednesday. And it's pretty powerful when you think about kind of the community that's being built in all these cities across the nation. And that too, if you're in another city traveling and you're there on Wednesday, I always recommend looking up their schedule to see if there's a local 1 Million Cups event you can attend. Whoops. Okay. We have an app as well. So if you don't mind, we'd love for you to check in using that app on your smartphone. It's a free app to download. And it's the best way you can actually leave feedback for our presenters. You can even leave feedback for me. If you're like, this dude sucks, he shouldn't be on stage in the morning. You can include that feedback through the app. Or you can be like, hey, it was awesome, I'm glad I came. So you can leave feedback there and also see who else attended, connect with other attendees, and you can see the upcoming startups that are presenting the following week. So it's pretty cool. And today's presenters, we have two companies, Best and Fade. And before we bring the first one on stage, I just want to also do a thank you to our coffee sponsor for this month, Brazen. And we'll be hearing a little bit more from Jasmine Brand about halfway through. She's going to come up and talk about their organization. So as part of tradition, we'd like everybody now to please stand up, give a round of applause as we welcome Samuel to the stage.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good. My name is Samuel Chite. I am the founding member and executive director for Best, Becoming Excelling Students Together. And I will talk a little bit more about this mentorship nonprofit, specifically catering to middle through high school students. And what makes us different from other mentorship programs is that we specifically pair these students with college-age mentors, people that look like them, closer to their age, a little step above, that can give them the right guidance that they need to matriculate, hopefully into college. Some of the students we work with don't actually go to college, but we also offer life skills prep, career options prep, but we really try to focus in on college prep. 1 second, bear with me. Let's see if I can get to the next slide.
You'll need to add an extra 30 seconds.
Sure. So,
Add 30 seconds on the clock.
yes, thank you. So our mission is to guide students on the pathway towards success. And again, we do that through college prep, career prep, and life skills. That includes ACT and SAT prep for students. We also do workshops. We do plan college tours. So we really want to get these students exposed to going into college. Myself, I'm from Tallahassee, Florida, and I graduated from Florida State University with a degree in civil engineering. So right now, my day job is I work as a civil aviation engineer as a consultant for DFW Airport. So the vision, my why. Why did I want to start such an organization? Well, I got hired as a mentor and a tutor at a local middle school in Tallahassee, Florida called Men's Middle School. And they, as a college student, they're offering you $15 an hour and you're broke, so you take the job, right? So I took this job and I was excited to be a part of the process. And I remember one of the teachers brought me to his office and he said, hey, I want you to tutor the students who got 2s on the FCAT. So if you know anything about the standardized testing, a 3 in Florida is passing and helps you get to the next grade. So there was a long list he gave me. He said, please tutor these students. And then on the back of this list was an even longer list in which there were the students that got 1s on the FCAT. And I asked this teacher, so what do we do with these students that got 1s on the FCAT? And he looked at me both faces and said, we don't do anything. And so when looking back, I was in a professional setting. I really wanted to go off and be like, why? Why are we not doing anything for these students? But I then asked him, so what happens to these students if we don't do anything for them? He told me that we push them up to middle school, and these are problem kids, and we let high school take care of them. So I did a little bit more research into that, and I found out there's something called the school to prison pipeline. And actually, prisons can plan out the number of jail cells that they need based off of 3rd grade aptitude test scores. That is really, really, really shocking. So I decided that I want to be the solution and not the problem. And so I said, hey, you can't solve anything unless you try to step in and do something yourself. So I got myself together with a couple of other few ambitious college students, and we formed this organization. So we started doing one-on-one tutoring in the local high schools. I would meet up with students, I would have other volunteers meet up with students, and we tutor these students for an hour sessions. But I then found out in order to make this organization grow more, we have to see more students. So I did a pitch to one of the local community centers, and I offered ACT and SAT prep for these students, and they asked me, so how much is your organization charging? I told them we'll do it absolutely for free. One of the best decisions I've ever made because it allowed us to get the leverage we needed with the community, the partnerships, and they also gave us space to make up our own curriculum, and we got a chance to pilot and see what worked and what didn't work. And that went so well, we were in the community center for a year. They loved our programs, and they decided that we want to get you guys funding, and they did get us funding. We went to the Department of Juvenile Justice, and they gave us a grant to continue our programs, not only in one community center, but we branched out and we were doing all of our programs in 4 different community centers within Tallahassee, Florida. So that was one of the great things that came about going in initially for free. So as of now, I've been in Dallas for 2 years. Our programs still continue in Tallahassee, but I have faced some challenges. One, those funds that we did get from the state weren't properly allocated to our organization. Instead, it was allocated to one of my volunteer mentors who was paid to host these programmings in these different community centers. Nothing wrong with that. It's good PR for us, but we wanted the allocation of the funds to come directly to the organization. And I attribute that to not being local to Tallahassee anymore. Once I graduated from college, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, started working, and then moved here to Dallas, Texas, almost 2 years ago. So not being local, having that face-to-face with the client was a really big deal for me. I think that's where we kind of struggled in a bit, and I'm still working through a proper solution for that. So I did have to consider whether, since I'm not in Tallahassee anymore, should I launch in Dallas, bring it here, or should I continue what I'm doing in Tallahassee? So as of now, I don't have a team established with me here in Dallas, but I did decide that I'm going to continue in Tallahassee, expand, and make it the best we can actually make it in Tallahassee. I believe that's my time. So if you have any questions, I welcome any questions, and here's some information on how you can follow us. Websites, email, speaking info. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Virginia. Yes, really great presentation, and I just want to echo what Samuel said earlier about, as entrepreneurs, sometimes there's an opportunity where you see a gap in the market, and that's what entrepreneurs do. So we take initiative and create a solution, so props to you on that. And our first question is always, what can the community do for you? And Monica and I are going to float around with Mike, so start thinking about your questions and raise your hand, we'll come around. But that's the first one for you.
I'm looking for feedback from the community, thoughts. Before I even walked in here, we had a conversation, even with Isabel. I was kind of back and forth on whether I should just kind of think about launching in Dallas since I am here local to Dallas, or whether I should continue in Tallahassee and make sure it's the very best mentorship nonprofit in Tallahassee. My thought on that was since we already have the partnerships, we already have the relationships, we have the client presence in Tallahassee, why not expand and make sure that that can be the best it can be by realigning our key staff. I have 2 points of contact in Tallahassee that pretty much manage the program for me, so I'm pretty much on the admin and executive side where I'm just pretty much taking phone calls, bi-weekly meetings, and making sure things are running as it's supposed to. Now, things that I do here in Dallas, since I haven't pretty much, it's like launching another startup in a sense. I would have to build a team. I would have to have the funds. I would have to have the relationships and things like that. But what I do here on my own, I leverage my CEO presence by doing public speaking, motivational speaking for students. I recently wrote a book on how to launch your own passion purpose business. I want to be able to share that with other young adults that are interested in launching their own business, as I did while I was in college. So those are just different things I've done on my own to kind of promote Best as a brand, even though I'm not in Tallahassee anymore, but also bring it to Dallas when it's time.
Awesome. And yeah, welcome to Dallas.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you guys in the audience have questions, please say your name when you get the mic and then ask your question. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I was just wondering, do you have any kind of measuring of results that you've gotten in this program, or how far have kids gone through it?
Okay, so BEST has been established since 2014, so we're about 4 years old. We are in the community centers, and if you know anything about how that structure works, you're not seeing the same kid every day. So the best way that I measure results is by what amount of students are we seeing on a monthly basis. We might not see the same student each time, but are we actually seeing students? Are we bringing students in? And as of today, we've seen over 350 plus students and counting. So every single day, we're seeing probably a new face, because these are just kids just coming in. They might want to get extra homework help. They might want to prepare themselves for ACT and SAT. Obviously, I would love to be able to track them from 6th grade all the way into high school, but I think we'll have to work more with the community centers to have maybe some kind of system in place where we can continue to track those data and statistics as well.
More of a comment. I've been in
We need the,
organization
sorry,
heading-
we need the mic so we can pick it up on the
Okay.
video, please. Thank you.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
About to rap for y'all. Okay. I'll drop you a beat.
Dave Gregorio. At 1,000,000 Cups, I'm in an organization last year called Youth Entrepreneurs. I want to strongly encourage you to connect with them. They've got the infrastructure, and there's tremendous synergy between what you're doing and what they're doing. They've got the capital as well, which is really important. Youthentrepreneurs.org. Ryan McDaniel is the local director, so I'll give you a card. Let's connect.
Definitely, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, on that note, I was going to say too, I'm putting together an entrepreneurship panel at South Oak Cliff High School. So I think that might be a great place to get you involved as well. Soccer.
Hey, so I have a question. So you said that the school and the community centers allow you to develop your own curriculum, modify it, and pilot it. So after 4 years into that, is that set now, or is it still kind of liquid state and it's still evolving?
Yeah, actually, the community centers have been very, very hands-on with us, and they love the fact that we come with our own ideas, we come with our own curriculum. But when we did get funded from the Department of Juvenile Justice, they did have a specific curriculum that they wanted us to host with our programs. But at the same time, we are still able to continue to do what we're doing because they love the programs that we had in place already.
Question back here. So can you tell us how this is being actually monetized? I mean, do you and your team volunteer your time, or are you guys, do you have a budget? Have you guys tapped into a budget to pay the people that are providing the service to the children?
Yes. So the biggest way we've been monetized was obviously through that funding we got through the state. I'm still looking for sources, ways of revenue, donations, funders, sponsorships, in order to continue to make this organization even more sustainable. We are technically still a startup. I do see within the next maybe year to 2-3 years that we can have a profitable, consistent place where we can always go to and have capital. So I believe that's just a work in progress. As of now, we don't have a consistent funding source, but with our services, we are able to monetize, we are able to set a price and say, this is what we offer, how much are you willing to do, or what is your budget in order to make these programs happen in your community center.
Any other questions in the audience? We've got time for about 2 or 3 more.
It looks like it's dead. Maybe use Sharaf's mic. Sharaf's mic's more reliable.
We have 2.
Yeah, use Sharaf's. Quickly. Yeah.
Dave,
Let's change that.
what's your cost per student?
Cost per student, I couldn't really tell you. That one I don't know. We just get a pool of funding, and I bet you we're probably working more than the money's giving us, to be honest.
You need to figure that out.
Absolutely.
Hi. I'm sorry, I came in late. Is community centers the main place for funding and that partnership? What are you thinking about from a corporate perspective? What did you explore in Florida? It's just from our space here, we've got quite a few options as far as tutoring. So it's not a crowded space, but a competitive space. So I'm thinking the more pipelines you have for funding, never really kind of be dependent on one. So can you tell me a little bit about what kind of relationships you have with corporations in Florida? What are your thoughts here?
Okay, as far as relationships with corporations in Florida, I believe that's also one of the things that I have to sit down and explore more. The reason why we got into community centers in the first place is because they had absolutely no programs. And I felt like that was exactly the space where we needed to get into. Because, schools already have these kind of programs that go on after school or during the summers. And it's kind of a unique thing because community centers, they want kids to come in and have fun, but I also thought that it would be a great idea to place this in community centers because students can come in, have fun, and get the tools they need to continue their education or whatever they want to do after school as far as careers go.
There's companies that might sponsor that though.
Yes, there's companies that might sponsor that. And we have reached out to some companies. I do want to establish a bigger team and a person that I can have to do sponsorships, especially on my team best. And even here, as I'm working as a professional, I can look to resources and businesses here in Dallas as well. Yes. Oh, okay. And we have one.
Okay, so as you said, you're still looking for a team. What kind of team are you looking for before you are actually willing to go ahead and start Alice?
Okay, so for me, I would need an admin, someone kind of like a right hand to be a point of contact. What I serve as like the community relationship, the partnership. I also need someone who is good with fundraising, treasurer, good with numbers, and a secretary. So if I have those 3 key people, I believe that would be just all I need to start a really solid team here in Dallas.
To go back to the sponsorship and funding question, have you, I'm sure, I don't know, you talked to like Tallahassee or like Florida State or like any other like local community colleges or trade schools, see if they can willing to sponsor some money or some tutors? Is that something you've been thinking about?
Absolutely. We have had an influx of tutors. So the community center that we work with, they have a partnership with the local colleges, FSU, FAMU, another college down there, and Tallahassee Community College. So yes, we have used, they've actually given us tutors, and they've actually paid some of their tutors to help our program as well.
Shirley State, are you doing anything with junior achievement?
I've never heard of junior achievement.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, you need to find out.
Yeah.
Is that local to Dallas?
No, it's a national,
National.
maybe even international, but it's a program that teaches kids about entrepreneurship. And they have curriculum starting from, I think, 2nd or 3rd grade that goes through 6th grade, and some high school programs.
Absolutely. We'll talk more.
All right, that's about all the time we have for Q&A. If you did have a question you didn't get to ask, please do stick around after the event. Sam will be here. Definitely find some time to come up and follow up. Well, let's give it up one more time for Samuel. All right, another shout out to our sponsors, and we'll have Jasmine come up from Brazen DFW to talk for a minute about what they do. And thank you again to Michael K. Bruner for doing our photography and video. Thank you to Capital Factory and the Deck for being our venue. And yeah, without further ado, Jasmine, if you'd like to come up and share a little bit about Brazen.
Let's give it up.
I think I feel like I need to bring that for our coffee. So my name is Jasmine Brand. I'm actually the CEO of Launch DFW. We are a digital media company that reports on anything startup related here in North Texas. We actually have an office upstairs if you ever want to visit. About a year ago, I was approached by a VC based in St. Louis who had this really cool organization she was wanting to kind of roll out of late April of this past year called Brazen. It launched in 7 cities, and her goal really is to kind of democratize success for female CEOs. So what does that mean? Well, there's a lot of offerings for women that are starting businesses, and this is an exciting time. You've got Bumble, who just announced a really national, a big, large fund for women entrepreneurs. You've got a lot of women pitching, we're going accelerators, and Brazen's goal is to actually build businesses that scale and grow. So after you're done pitching, after you're done researching, going to your networking events, it's time to actually get down to business, scale it, and grow it. And Brazen DFW launched in May. We are a membership organization, but the membership is so nominal, and I think it goes back to this democratization of a lot of the leadership organizations for CEOs require thousands of dollars in order to be involved. Membership with Brazen is $9 to $40 per month. And I think the goal is to really kind of create an organization that is for the average working woman who either started a company or a woman who's early stage. 98% of all women-owned businesses make less than $1 million a year, and most are solopreneurs. So what does that mean? You don't network, you don't go out, and then also you can't afford to be part of a lot of the organizations that are here to support you. So brazendfw.com if you want information. If you're looking to join us, we've got a free month now, so if you want to join, go to brazendfw.com. If you're looking to mentor, we host events each month, so it's not just, it's our target are women entrepreneurs, but guys, we actually need you. You know, we can't just preach to the crowd and to the audience, our own audience. So if you're looking to mentor, we would love to connect with you. I'm redoing all of our business cards and our branding stuff, so I don't have a card. That would be great, right? But I will be in the back drinking coffee, so if you're interested, please come back. I'll get your information and we can set up some time to chat. Thank you guys so much for having us.
Just piggyback on that, as someone who's been running scheduling for 1 Million Cups for over the last year, I'm starting to see a huge trend towards we're getting more and more female founders applying to present here. So some of that's credit to you guys and the work you're doing locally. And next up, I do want to make a quick announcement that 1 Million Cups Irving has now launched, so I wanted to give them a shout out. They're now officially live, and if you're in Irving, Las Colinas, that part of town, definitely check out their chapter. I believe they're doing their events at
The study.
Thank you. So yeah, do look them up on 1millioncups.com if you're in that part of town. And next, we have our second presenter, so let's all stand up once again, give a round of applause, and welcome our to the stage.
Hello? Oh. Can everyone hear me all right? Oh.
Pause the clock.
How's y'all's morning going? Have enough coffee today?
Great time to use that. Great time to grab another cup of coffee.
All right.
We got 6 minutes on the clock. Take it away.
Well, good morning, Dallas. I just want to put some energy here. But thank you so much, Isabel and Sharad, for the opportunity to present here today. I came here because I had a story to share, and it's this guy's story. So meet Michael. Michael's 18 years old. He just graduated from high school. He's really excited about the next phase of his life, which is going to college. He's moving out of his parents' place, and he's really excited to make new friends. And honestly, let's talk about new women, right? But then reality strikes. Enter Perfect Patrick. This guy's been in school for 3 days, and he's already surrounded by the coolest guys on the block, and women are going crazy over him. And at this moment, Mike feels something that men just don't admit to feeling. He feels self-conscious about himself, about his appearance, about the way he presents himself. So he decides to make a change, and naturally finds his best friend Google to figure out how to look more attractive as a man. But what Mike finds out is really interesting. He realizes that the hair is the most important part about the appearance of a guy. And he's not alone. 8 in 10 men in the United States personally believe that their hair is a direct reflection of their style. So he goes back to our friend Google to find a barber near him that'll help him get the cleanest fade. What Mike doesn't realize is that at this moment, he makes a huge decision in his life. It's whether he's going to go to Barber Ryan from Legends Classic, who's a skilled local barber cutting for 10 years, or stare into a mirror, gearing up for an anxiety attack with his hairline's lifted up 3 inches. And unfortunately for Mike, he chooses the second. So his haircut's pretty bad. He asks his friend for advice, and they say, man, you know, if you go over to CVS and pick up some cool products, maybe you can put pomade and fix it up. So he drives up to CVS, walks up to the stall, scans through the aisle, and picks up the thing that he's most familiar with, which is an Old Spice pomade can. What he didn't realize is that this was the right product for him. So what did we really learn from Mike is, honestly, he looks like this now. And he's my co-founder. What we learned was that during these last 4 years where he changed his appearance so much and became who he is today, he tried 4 different barbers, he tried 14 different products, spent a total of $2,250 trying to get there. And in that entire process, he now struggles with dandruff. And like 65% of the men at the age of 35 today in the United States, he's more likely to lose hair and start balding. So what's the real problem here? Is that there's 52 million men just like Mike, and they're from all walks of life. And the problem is that it's extremely difficult to find the right barber for your unique hair needs today. And at the same time, for local barbers, finding new customers, retaining their business, and satisfying their needs is extremely hard. So our solution is to create a mobile platform that connects men with barbers and cater to their unique hair needs. We do this by providing barbers with a booking platform that helps them grow their brand, manage their client and bookings, and at the same time, keep track of all of their financials in the palm of their hand. And for Mike, he can now build his profile by telling us about his hair length, hair texture, hair style, and unique hair struggles, which we use as a backbone of our recommendation engine to not only curate barbers who would best cut his hair, but also help him find the latest hairstyles and products, and explain to his barber how he wants his hairstyle. Our pricing model is what really makes us unique. We've researched over the last 6 months and interviewed over 145 barbers to create this model. And what we realized is that current models, especially the ones our competitors follow, charge anywhere from 6 to 9% per month, which really bleeds into their revenue. or they charge $25 to $250 a month for a booking platform. My background is in experiential marketing, and Team Fade is ready to launch in Dallas. That's Muhammad Ali. That's Amu Lipton. Thank you so much. All right, questions?
All right, very nice presentation. We will now open up the floor for questions, but our first question as a community to you is what can we as a community do for you?
Honestly, right now, we're just really close to launching a private beta. So as many people as we can get on there and get brutal feedback on how we can improve their experience and help them find the right barber for their needs would be amazing. And at the same time, just Dallas support, keep it coming.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Any questions?
All right.
So first question, when you said you could make your own profile with your hairstyle and textures, how do you target a customer like me when I don't even know my style and the texture of my haircut?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. So we have 8 different layers, and we start off based on ethnicity, because I know that's the one thing that is a hyper-focus. Especially for African-American community, we want to get African-American barbers, Latino community, Latino barbers. As an Arab, I like going to an Arab or a barber who can cut the undercut for me. So our main goal with Fade is to make it a very smart and a personal grooming assistant for men. Over time, the more and more haircuts that you get, when you start understanding your needs, and your barber, when he makes notes about your haircut, helps cross-reference that information into making your profile. So it's essentially, I guess the biggest divide right now with this industry is that it's so underserved. So people don't realize that guys really care about the way that we look. Because we really do. In the morning you look in the mirror and you put that pomade in and you're like, oh man, I have to get to work. People didn't smell my hair. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of care. So we want to help reconstruct that in a very simple way. I think that would at the same time be a huge challenge because it's a complex marketplace. We're targeting users, product companies, and barbers. But if we strategically do in stages, hopefully we can build out something that will help men. Awesome. Jonathan?
Love the energy. Great pitch.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about how are you going to make your audience aware of Fade? Are you going to be driving that from barbers who already have customers, but for people that don't have their go-to barber or don't know that they should? How are you going to educate them?
That's an amazing question. So our go-to-market strategy is now very barber-focused. Because we're a two-sided marketplace, we want to make sure there's enough saturation on one side before we target the second. So barbers have 3 entire weeks to onboard all their existing clients at no cost. After that, we'll be charging 50% of the new customers we bring in, because we think it's unreasonable to charge barbers money for the business that they already have. Right? And the second part, what we do is because of the Esri database, it's allowed us to identify zip codes that are ideal for expansion. From reconstructed from the barber side and from the financial resources and demographic information of each customer. So what we're doing is we're going to target them through digital marketing once we have enough saturation in that market. That's the entire go-to-market strategy, and hopefully we'll do it city by city by city until we have a cell phone onboarding platform that is very robust. Hello.
Are you looking to partner with grooming companies or other barbers like Sports Club and Hammer and Nails that's targeted just to men?
So, I mean, it's crazy, but Sports Clubs actually owns 22% of the market share of the entire industry, even though they only account for 3% of barbers employed. So, as much as opportunities they provide us with, that's not what we're targeting. Because we want to support local barbers. We want to help them build their business. So, John's Barbershop, Legends Classic, Rosewood Barbershop in Austin, they're our ideal partners because we want to help bring and localize this entire economy. Right?
Sorry, were you finished?
Yeah.
I just had a question on how the products were going to work into this. You said that you're charging various products like $5,000 or $6,000. So are those getting pushed on people? How do people, you mentioned earlier, to find the right product? How does that kind of cohesively work with the system?
That's a great question. So have you interacted with Snapchat's Discover platform?
Sorry, I'm too old for
Anyways, what we do is, so the 3,000 and 5,600 is if they need us to design their ads. Right? It's very visually immersive, it takes up the whole screen, and vertical campaigns are a little more difficult to design. What we do is based on the information, like for example, one company we work with is Masculine Craft Company. They specifically make beard care products for African Americans. They use a lot of aloe vera, and oh my god, it smells so good. But what we do is because we can understand our user on a much more in-depth basis, right? We can target their ads towards an African American man with beard from light to heavy, and push that ad over there. The entire premise of the Fade app, though, what we want to do is like make it a non-intrusive environment. So none of these advertisements are pushed. They're just recommended on a separate feature list. So we want to like endorse and kind of inspire people for self-exploration to figure out their own grooming needs.
How you doing?
Hey!
I'm Wendell from TTMA. My dad owns a couple barbershops, and I was just wondering, with the barber piece of it, how would you plan on combating, you know, especially for new barbers, booth rent and taking 50% of the cut from that haircut?
Yeah, I think that's an amazing question. So the booth rent is the main reason why we created this model. Because right now, in Dallas, most of the barbershops, they rent out by the booth, right? So for our model, if you only get charged for one haircut. So the 50% of that first haircut for the client that we bring you is all we charge. But to manage all of your clients that you have currently existing, we don't charge you that. So we've created a model that is very, very barber friendly from both a pricing and technological perspective. Can I meet your dad? Hey, Devin.
Hey, well, you talked about digital marketing, it's kind of your,
Yeah.
You talked about digital marketing, and it makes sense, right, because you guys are an app, but what other marketing strategies, because like you said, this is a competitive space and everyone's doing digital marketing. Have you thought about an offline strategy to kind of complement everything you're doing online?
I think that's an amazing idea. Recently, we were probably going to work together. But we just graduated from the Mass Challenge Accelerator program, and for a demo day, we did something that was really cool. We brought in one of the local barbers we had and did a pop-up barber shop. That gave us huge traction on our website, and our numbers were just spiking up unreasonably. So we hope to do that, on college campuses and places where we can garner attention, where we have an ideal audience that will be more willing to adopt our platform and try it out. Secondly, right now, today, we're completely self-funded. So we are looking for a pre-seed round, but we'd like to push that date until we can raise a higher valuation. Until then, I think what we're also going to do is try to get to as many barber shows as possible to organically recruit at those outlets as well. Because, honestly, the biggest thing in the barber industry is clout. If you have it, if people believe in it, and if they vouch for you, then you've created a long-lasting product, and that's what we hope to achieve.
Maybe thinking of a well-known celebrity or someone influenced that you would kind of help with the power.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like Ezekiel Elliott, if he was on Fade, we'd be crushing it right now. Oh, yeah.
We have time for a few more questions.
I have one, Monica. Yeah. Thanks.
Can you tell us about any of the struggles that you've had along the way in this journey? And maybe there's some support or offer that is in the room? Thanks.
I guess the biggest struggle was eating like one Nature Valley bar and one ramen day. But those are the times you have to go through. I think financial modeling and creating a pro forma has been very difficult, because even though we have domain expertise with my CFO, Chad, what we're building is very complex. We know it will most likely work. We haven't tested product market fit there yet, but we're hoping for it. If there's someone over here that could help us, guide us in the right way to create a financial model that is very badass, I would love that. Awesome. Anybody else?
More questions?
Yeah. There's enough time, so I'll ask you.
Tell us what you expect to happen for your business in the next 3 to 5 years. Is it your goal to eventually see yourself out of the business and sell this to whatever other large, massive men's grooming company? For example, let's say
P&G or L'Oreal.
or maybe it's GQ or somebody decides, oh, this is really cool, we want to buy you guys. Is it something that you would like to have on your radar?
Personally, for me, it's like my little baby, right? So it's going to be hard to give up. But I would say at a reasonable price, every founder, especially first-time founders, should be open to exiting their company, one, to benefit their investors, and at the same time for themselves, so they can continue doing what they do. But on the other hand, I see this as a long-term investment. The men's grooming market is just our first forte. I have plans on getting into the fashion industry with this platform called Life that we hope to ship in 2 years. Because now once we have a core understanding of who you are and what your grooming needs are, I can start showing you the cleanest Jordans in the area or the right suits for your needs. Right? So we'll segue one by one. It's a very huge ambition, I know, but step by step we hope to become the leading force in the entire fashion industry by personalizing an industry that people are just really not appreciating to the fullest extent yet.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, this reminds me of
Something
something.
I feel like we're having about it. If anybody else has questions, just interrupt me, please. There's a lot of companies boutiques that completely cater to women and like with fashion. So you go to their website, you put in what your style is, and then it tells you supposedly what you like, and then they actually have a subscription model that will send you different styles every month. I sort of wonder if you're aware if there's anybody in the grooming space that's doing this direct catering for clothing for men, and if there are partnership opportunities for you with their customer base and with what you're offering.
Well, that's an incredible idea. We've talked to some so far, but not to the fullest extent that we need to. Like, I know I talked to the founder of Broken Box, right? It's a personalized grooming subscription box that comes to your door, but I think those are partnerships that come down way down the line. But I definitely think that the strongest point of our entire platform is not just going to be the service, it's the data that we accumulate. And another thing that we really want to do is we want to make our company a totally open data company. So we're creating this platform called Porter within Fade that will show you the data that we share and that we utilize. And you can edit it to your, how you want to do it. It's something that my CTO is really passionate about, and I am too. But the idea is to use this data to, I 100% would love to partner with some companies who can help us get.
I don't have any leads, sorry.
I think there is a company, I think it's called J. Halliburton, and they just had a big conference here in Dallas, and they cater to image consulting with men.
Wow, yeah, definitely look into that.
That's good. Jay Halliburton.
Jay Hilbert? Okay.
I don't know if there's any Aggies in the room, but this is Dave. I strongly encourage you to focus on College Station. There's 1,800 core members there that get their haircuts at a barber every couple of weeks. So consider College Station.
Yes, I will keep that in mind.
All right, we have time for one more question.
Anyone want to go for the home run?
Or maybe you have a question for us.
Yeah, I guess, to the guys here, I see a lot of diversity in this room, a lot of diversity in age and race and all kinds of diversity, but how do you think we could help you? Something that I haven't considered yet, something I haven't thought of, a problem that you face, a problem we could help with.
Specifically, is there a feature on the site that would help people with accessibility issues or some type of impairment that might limit where they can get their haircut?
Well, I think, that's an amazing idea. Recently we came up with this concept that we hope we can implement soon, but it's called Human Friendly. It's a simple tag with an HF in it. We plan to put it on our barbershops that are very friendly towards accepting the LGBTQ community, because I've met some people who have had problems, convincing their barber, if they're a woman, to give them an undercut. And we want to kind of inspire a community that really accepts. But I really like that idea. We haven't really considered it yet, accessible to handicapped individuals, say people with disabilities.
Nice.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. That's all the time we have.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, maybe we just leave the slide up, it's nice.
I need that.
But let's see. Thank you guys all for coming out this morning. Thank you to our team. Some of you guys know next week's my last week here on the team, so I'm sad that I'll be leaving, but you'll still see me around at 1 Million Cups. And if you're around next week, or if you're on Twitter, hit me up. I'm at Chicago Gupta. You can keep in touch with me that way. And this is all of our 1 Million Cups team. So we're really excited to have a great team. If you're interested in volunteering and getting involved, we probably will have slots opening up on our team over the next few months, but not immediately.
Hey, Shirok, it's not your last week. Next week is.
That's what I said.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
You can go check the tape. You can go to the tape.
Sorry.
But it's a really phenomenal team to be a part of. Isabel's a great team lead, and over my 1 year participating, I just wanted to share, I've now met over 100 business owners who've come and presented on this stage that are local here in Dallas. So it's a really phenomenal community to be a part of, and thank you for the opportunity. And a few sort of last housekeeping announcements. Let me see if Kinga's over there, if I can shout her out. Yeah, so if you see Kinga, she's sitting over there. She's with Capital Factory, and she'll be happy to show you around, give you a tour of the space. And they also have a happy hour / open co-working event happening this Friday. So I just want to give them a plug for that. And immediately after 1 Million Cups wraps up here, everyone's welcome to stay and stick around and co-work you'll go past that wall and check in, and you can actually get online, do some work here if you need to, and stick around and network. So with that, I think we'll wrap it up. And DJ Kevin, if you want to turn the music back on, go ahead. And thank you all for coming out. See you next week.